What if the greatest manipulation of your life didn't come from governments, advertisers, or secret societies, but from the very people who loved you most? Before you ever opened a social media app, before you learned to read, a subtle but powerful program was already shaping how you think, feel, and act. It doesn't need wires, hypnosis, or chemicals. It hides in everyday conversations, bedtime stories, and small moments you barely remember. Psychologists call it priming, philosophers might call it conditioning, but most people simply call it growing up. Tonight, we'll decode the hidden technique that silently writes the operating system of your mind. And more importantly, we'll learn how to rewrite it. Because once you see the code, you can finally decide which commands to keep and which to delete. From the moment you're born, your brain is wide open. Neuroscientists describe the first 7 years of life as a period of theta dominance. Theta waves are the same brain frequencies that adult hypnotic states produce. This isn't science fiction, it's biology. Your young mind absorbs language, cultural norms, and emotional patterns before you have the critical thinking to question any of it. Think of a toddler watching a parent react to money. A sigh when bills arrive. A smile when a bonus appears. No lecture is needed. The child's nervous system is recording a lesson. Money equals stress, or money equals freedom. These lessons become automatic thoughts. Tiny if-then statements buried deep inside the subconscious. Advertisers spend billions trying to trigger these pre-written codes. Why create a new belief when they can simply activate an old one? The sound of an ice cream truck, the scent of cinnamon at a mall, even the default settings on your smartphone. Each is designed to awaken a memory you didn't know you had. This is the silent mind control. Not a villain in a black cloak, not a government chip, just early experiences replaying themselves in the background of your adult life. Long before neuroscience, philosophers warned us. Plato wrote about the cave, where prisoners mistake shadows for reality. He wasn't only talking about politics, he was describing mental programming. People chained to early assumptions, believing their childhood shadows are the full truth. Arthur Schopenhauer argued that a person can do what they will, but they cannot will what they will. In other words, you can choose actions, but the desires that drive those actions are planted long before choice begins. Friedrich Nietzsche took it further. He saw morality itself as a form of conditioning, values imposed by culture and religion to keep society stable, but often at the cost of individual freedom. Today, we have a different language: schema, neuroplasticity, epigenetics. But the insight is the same. Your thoughts are not entirely your own. They are echoes of teachers, parents, childhood friends, and invisible cultural forces. Childhood lays the foundation. Modern technology renovates the building. The devices we carry are not neutral tools. They are designed systems engineered to harvest attention and amplify pre-existing patterns. Every notification, every tailored recommendation, every trending topic is a carefully measured stimulus. Platforms run millions of micro-experiments, small A/B tests that incrementally discover which images, words, or sequences push you toward a predictable response. These systems don't create desire from scratch. They identify weak seams in your old programming, small emotional hooks, memories, and reflexes from the past. Then tug at them. If your early life linked affection to approval, notifications and likes become a stand-in for love. If drama once produced attention, outrage becomes rewarding. Algorithms simply accelerate what already exists inside you. Mechanically, It's straightforward and devastatingly effective. Reinforcement loops train behavior. An action is followed by a small reward. The brain notes the contingency, and the action repeats. Dopamine acts as a highlighter, marking what's worthwhile to seek again. Over months and years, trillions of these micro-rewards sculpt taste, narrow attention, and reshape priorities. The world you attend to recasts itself as the world you live in. Look at politics and culture. Micro-targeted messaging rarely wins by offering better arguments. It succeeds by shifting emotional context, by making the same belief feel dangerous, heroic, or shameful. Marketing succeeds when it finds the exact childhood cue a product can be mapped to: a scent, a sound, a familial memory, and presents it at moments of weakness. Worse, the algorithm hides behind helpfulness. It feels personalized because it reflects recognized patterns, which gives it authority in your mind. But its optimization metric is engagement, not truth or wisdom. Left unchecked, personalization becomes an echo chamber. Feed in conditioned patterns. Get back reinforced reflexes. There are two required responses. First, see the loop. Second, interrupt it. The next sections give concrete ways to both notice those loops and dismantle them deliberately. The first practical victory is awareness. When a thought rises, name it. When you notice the impulse, check my feed, buy now, reply immediately. A tiny gap opens between stimulus and response. That gap is leverage. It gives the prefrontal cortex the fraction of a second needed to choose differently. Psychologists call this metacognitive interruption. Mindfulness teachers call it witness consciousness. Both describe the same function: observing a process rather than being swept by it. To widen that gap, use rituals that act as interrupters. A 3-breath pause before any decision creates space. A visual anchor, a small stone on your desk, a pinned note on your screen reading pause, works as an interrupting token. These devices convert fleeting awareness into repeatable behavior. They are small hacks that scaffold bigger cognitive change. Tracking is the second key. Keep a concise trigger log. Time, preceding context, what you felt, and what you did. The act of logging converts vague impulses into data. Patterns appear. Certain hours, particular apps, or specific people repeatedly catalyze the same reflex. With that data, you can redesign context, move apps, change notification rules, or add friction to impulsive actions. Third, practice replacement. When a habit activates, script an alternative and rehearse it. Implementation intentions are simple. If X happens, I will do Y. For instance, if I feel the urge to scroll after dinner, I will stand and walk for 2 minutes. Rehearsed replacements retrain neural pathways because the subconscious learns by repetition. Combine interruption, tracking, and replacement to create a sustainable cycle. That cycle turns scattershot resistance into measurable progress. It lets you reclaim agency through small, consistent acts rather than relying on willpower alone. Start with environmental engineering. The brain learns context faster than rules. If you want fewer late-night purchases, create physical obstacles. Uninstall shopping apps, enable passwords, or move your phone across the room. If you want calmer reactions, mute notifications and schedule specific times for checking email and feeds. These changes reduce trigger frequency and give you a fighting chance. Next, build micro rituals that rebuild reward systems. Replace impulsive acts with short, repeatable practices that carry emotional weight. A 2-minute walk after dinner, a nightly 3-question reflection: what triggered me? What did I do? What will I try tomorrow? or a 5-breath reset before stressful conversations. Rituals create predictable positive feedback that can compete with algorithmic hooks. Third, use social architecture. Announce small commitments to friends or a group. Public promises create accountability and social reinforcement. Shared constraints, a device-free dinner, scheduled focus hours, become cultural scaffolding that supports individual change. Fourth, practice controlled exposure. If specific headlines or profiles provoke you, schedule short sessions to observe your reaction without engaging. Over time, repeated non-reactive exposure reduces emotional charge and weakens the trigger response connection. Finally, Riekert wins daily. Change is incremental. It's hundreds of small refusals and rehearsed alternatives that add up. Each logged victory, however modest, reweights your reward calculus and slowly rewrites old code. Tonight, choose one trigger and one tiny replacement. Practice it for 7 days and note the change. The code that once ran you is rewritable, slowly, stubbornly, humanly. Subscribe for the next decode, deeper tools, worksheets, and the next cipher.